Good morning and welcome to Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damlola Bushaki. I'm with my co-host, Precious Chikudu. And of course, we'll be analyzing the front pages of the newspapers and also reviewing them. Okay, Precious? How do you do it? I think this is the first time we're doing this together this week. Is this?
No, I
okay,
think
this is the second time
together.
together.
Well, how are you guys doing?
I'm very fine and good. Of course, we're just in many stories on the front pages of the papers. But let's start with the front page of Vanguard. And here we have insecurity storm over governor's request for bailout. And the riders, let governors account for previous bailouts. And that's coming from Pandef. Insecurity not about bailout, and that's Afenifere. Don't give governors money, Alaibo Foundation says. Lasting solution needed, not bailout, and that's YCE. They are demanding all the, as Adebanjo and Ortom is also saying that let responsible Nigerians carry arms. And on COVID-19 updates, Lagos records 113 new infections as confirmed cases rise to 47,713. You can see more of that on page 35 and also on page 5. Moving on to the stories below, we have Mailafia's Boko Haram claims heavy must be probed, and the rider, Northern Governors Forum, DSS invites quizzes and freezing. You can see that on page 7. On page 35, on Naira Watch, we have a Naira down to 386 Naira per dollar in INE window. On page 11, why gridlock persists on Apapa Oshodi Expressway, and that's coming from transport unions. EFCC, Mago kicks against secret trial, fair hearing denied by panel. You can see that on page 8. And on page 7, we have fake acts of finance minister to deduct at source allocation of state guilty of a double taxation. And on the stories above, we have a Unilag, ASU kicks as governing council, SAS VC. I remain Unilag VC, Ogundipe insists. And lastly, on the front page of Vanguard, we have INEC, NGO tax Edo youths on violence as Obaseki, Ize-Iyamu intensify campaigns. And from the front page of Vanguard, we move straight to the Punch newspaper.
And on the front page of the Punch newspaper, we have main headlines: APC interim panel battles against time, party to shift convention. And the riders, we have committee to meet next week, yet to begin reconciliation. Defunct NWC members grumble over lack of consultation. PGF DG Rights Committee seeks another NEC meeting. You can see that story on page 5. And stories above, we have council replaces Unilag VC Ogundipe, dismisses sacking. You can see that story on page 9. And on page 8, we have Army probes alleged soldiers' involvement in illegal fishing and trading. On page 2, we'll impeach Obaseki if he flouts laws, Edo Assembly faction boasts. And stories beneath, we have Arotile, police arraigns a driver, vehicle owner in Kaduna. Also, man backs 25 years imprisonment for raping 11-year-old girl in Ogun. Lagos local government spokesman differs on death of council chairman. And that's all we can take on the front page of the Punch newspaper.
And we're going on a short break now. And when we return, we have a guest who will be joining us via Zoom, and that's Mr. OLAJUIGBE, Executive Director, Emergency and Risk Alert. Stay with us. We'll be back. Alright, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Zablola Bishaki, and I'm being with my co-host, Precious Chukudi. Okay, before I went on break, I had said I guess to be joining us via Zoom, but right now we'll be going straight and they'll be joining us later. Okay, so, governors yesterday came under attack following the request they made of the federal government to grant them bailouts to take care of security issues in their states. The governors had a virtual meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari in this country on Tuesday, and argued that the impact of COVID-19 had eroded their financial capabilities to check insecurity in their domains. But this, of course, drew the anger of stakeholders across the country, groups as the Yoruba socio-political organizations, that's Afenifere, its counterparts in the Niger Delta, the Niger Delta Forum, PANDEF, and the Middle Belt Forum rejected the request, urging the federal government to ask the government to account for previous bailouts granted them to pay workers, which most of them failed to do so. However, elder statesman and Afenifere leader, that's Chief Ayo Adebanjo, the Yoruba Council of Elders, that's YCE, and public affairs analyst Ayo Fadaka, threw their weight behind the governor, saying since the governors were already assisting the federal government to equip the police and other security agencies with vehicles and other tools, they deserve some bailouts. Afenifere added that the solution to insecurity in the country was not bailouts, but finding a lasting solution to the crisis. Similarly, also Igbo Elite Organization also rejected the request by governors for security bailouts, for saying any money given to them will go down the drain. Meanwhile, the governor of Plateau State, Benue State rather, that's Governor Samuel, urged the federal government to grant responsible Nigerians sophisticated weapons to deter attacks on the innocent citizens by Nigerians. By criminals. Talking about this granting license to responsible Nigerians to carry the firearms. I don't know where that headed. So what do you think about that?
I would stick with what Afenifere did said on the slogan that bailout is not what they need. They need to fight insecurity, which is really more important.
It's really, they really risk. I think it was just a lot of most of the the groups really told them that no bailout is not, so that's I think one of them was saying that they've given bailout to them in the past times, and they were not able to account for it. That this time around, if they're actually going to give them bailout, then it means that they need to follow up, the federal government need to follow up and make them account for each and everything that they do and what they spend, the money on. And talking about the firearms and all that, I know a lot of Nigerians, we have to, they will be happy to hear this, but before we can actually go into this, a lot of things need to be touched and also restructured. Yeah.
Moving on, we're talking about the EFCC probe and Mago kicks against secret trial, fair hearing denied by a panel, and the suspended acting chairman of Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ibrahim Mago, has kicked against secret trial and exclusion from many sessions where many adversaries, witnesses were invited by the Judicial Commission of Inquiry to testify against him by the Justice Ayo Salami-led panel. Mago, in a 16-page petition dated August 10, 2020, addressed the injustice addressed to Justice Ayo Salami, also kicked against the panel exclusion of his lawyers from the many proceedings of the commission, describing the action as a deliberate attempt to deny him fair hearing. Also, Mago also complained about the non-administration of oaths by the commission on the witnesses, and he had been taking evidences from since the commencement of the trial, saying that the commission had also violated a mandatory requirement of the law covering such trials in Nigeria. And still on this whole Mago situation, so he's been coming out to say that they've excluded him from attending some of these trials with some
witnesses who claim social things were given to them and all those kind of things, that he doesn't like the fact that he's being excluded, that he should be given fair hearing, like he needs to be there too, and he's been excluded, his lawyers has also been excluded, so he's supposed to be present there so that he knows what they're saying, and someone will just sort of make some very, very funny allegations about him.
Okay, we're going on a short break now, and when we return, we'll continue from where we stopped. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Damian. I'm here with my co-host,
Precious Chukudi.
And of course, joining us right now via Zoom, it's Mr. GBENRO OLAJUIGBE, the Executive Director, Emergency and Risk Alert. Mr. GBENRO, good morning. Okay, governors on Tuesday made a request to federal government to grant them bailout to take care of security issues in their states. What do you have to say about this?
Well, I don't think that should be their request by now. Their request is to have for each state governor to have come up with strategic plan. You can't be looking at insecurity like that. There must be a plan before you request for money. Okay, how much are they requesting for? For what purpose? Which aspect of security do they want to tackle? We can't be doing something and just be wasting money recklessly. These are governors that have been spending the so-called security votes, and nothing has come out of it. If you want to make a request, in fact, what I expect federal government to do is to do the analysis of security situation in Nigeria, develop a framework of invention, and the roles, specify, allocate roles that governors will play. Each critical sector at all levels, the roles to play. It is there you begin to raise the issue of how are we going to fund it? What will you need to play your own role? Not that they should give you bailout. Bailout for what now?
So you don't think bailout is the solution right now?
It's not the solution. What are they going to use it for? That's why I'm saying that these people are just toying with insecurity that is spreading across the nation. The most critical thing to have done after their meeting is for them to bring reports from each state, the council or whatever they call that meeting, and then they discuss it. They look at the context, they look at the response mechanism, and if you have that, then you know the aspects that the federal government will take, the role the state will take, and that will be required. And then you begin to talk of resource mobilization. And then you begin to talk of how much will be enough for you to strategically play your role. Not that you go to a meeting of insecurity and you are saying that they should give you bailout. Where is the bailout going to? Without accountability framework developed. So there must, before any money is given to any governor, there must be accountability framework. Specify the usage for that, or the use of that money. Which area of security are you going to address? At least if you want to, you can say that if I have this money, I'm able to do 8 months of the security in my state.
Okay.
So look at this too. Where states has no physical boundary. So, and the type of crisis we have now is is what you call fluid violence or fluid crisis. They can easily move from one to the other. Zamfara today, Kaduna tomorrow, Niger tomorrow, Niger next tomorrow, and so on, hitching into the southward country. So there must be coordinated approach to intervention. And the first thing is not about money. You must know where that money, where they are going. So you don't go to that, and this is the mindset that has put us in this type of trouble. The mindset of throwing money at everything without adequate plan, without adequate preparation, without strategic focus, without strategic vision, without strategic mission, push the vision. And then you now organize all these things. And then you can now reduce them to the resources you will need. Let me tell you, it's not everything. There are a lot of things that can even be done with communication. Before you develop all these things, you have to tell the government, what have you done on your own? Where are you? Are they working? Do you need to revise it? For example, how many of them engage their communities to be sending early alerts to them if they feel that there's a threat? Have they carried out the threat analysis of their own environment, even the vulnerability of their own people? Have they linked the communities that are frequently attacked with structured security agencies so that there will be interaction between them? Look, the whole essence of responding is their population at risk. There must be linkage between population at risk and those who have responsibility to address the issue that have put them in that situation. So there is no connection. Even at the community level, it's not working. They don't have it. They have not done all these things. It is very annoying when you are in this type of the society. Everything they talk about is money, and if you give it to them, the money with the next thing. That has been the story.
Okay, Mr. GBENRO, the national chairman of PANDEF, it says that there was a bailout given to governors in the past to pay salaries, and up to today, they've not paid it, and the federal government just let it go like that. And this statement has really, sparked a lot of reactions on social media, with Nigerians wondering why the federal government will actually let this be and, not ask them for their accounts. What do you have to say about this?
Well, the money is from federation account, the money that they gave them out. I don't know why they said to call it bailout. It's a federation money. State has part of that money in a national part. It's only that the return came through the federal government. So it's the money of the federation which states are entitled to get as a matter of fact. But that being it, what have they done with that? Some of them did not even use it to pay salary. That is the issue. And if you don't pay salary, do you know the shame connection of violence? If you don't pay salary, people will not be able to feed. They will lose control. They won't be able to take care of their children. They will lose control over their children. Their children will be out there committing crime and perpetrating violence. So this it has chain reaction. When you subject these people to subject your own people, you muscle them and subject them to abject poverty because you don't pay salary and you are spending the money on another thing. Then what will be the end result? Insecurity everywhere. Because there will be hunger and people will now want to eat. And children who are not fed, the parents will lose control over them. And if they lose control over them, they become to imbibe what you call subculture. They become criminal. In fact, it takes them to getting radicalized in some instances. So these are conditions. People should begin to look at when you don't do one thing. It is not about you not paying salary. It's about the consequences that you are going to attract to society. It's a spiral effect. It's more than what you don't do.
Mr. GBENRO, the governor of Benue State, that's Governor Samuel Ortom, he said that responsible Nigerians should be given a license should be grant license to to weapons, in order to attack the innocent, to defend innocent citizens from criminals. I'm talking of governor of Benue State. That's Governor Samuel. Governor Samuel Ortom, he says that responsible Nigerians should be granted license to weapons. Do you actually think that this will not lead? Do you think this will lead to more violence? Mr. GBENRO?
That's what.
Okay. Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State, he said Nigerians should be granted they should be granted license to weapons. What do you have to say about this?
It was prompted by circumstances to say that, because people just have to defend themselves one way or the other. I am endorse physically because there are certain things that should be prerequisites for that to be done in a country like ours. But look, they compare us with others. This is a country of a very extreme angry people. People are angry about unemployment. People are angry about a lot of things. If you distribute guns to a lot of people, those who have access to guns, the gun will be collected from them and be used to kill them and kill other members of society. The basic thing is that how do we now begin to look at the needs as this needs assessment, carry out the needs assessment of this large population that are pullable to crime, and particularly youth population? How do you begin to tackle unemployment? How do you begin to sit down and look at the structure? Because what we are having is structural violence. It emanates from structure that is not meeting people's needs. The need for justice is not met. It is not met. The need for basic access to basic amenities, basic needs of life, they are not met. What you are in a society that you are stuck at the basic BRS level to the extent you can't climb what Maslow called hierarchy of needs. This is the situation of us. That is not going to solve the problem. I think it's elitist in a way. How many people will be able to afford that? Those that are being killed, how many of them are allied? Most people, that 80% of people that have been killed unjustly, violently in this country, are in the peripherals of the society.
All right, Mr. GBENRO.
The headship of the art.
Mr. GBENRO, let's focus on EFCC probe. Now, Ibrahim Magu has kicked against secret trials and his exclusion from many sessions where adversaries, witnesses were invited by Judiciary Commission to testify against him. Should he really be exempted from these trials going on? Did you hear me clearly, sir?
Well, we will wait for what the outcome. Okay, repeat the question.
Okay, I'm saying that Ibrahim Magu has kicked against secret trials and his exclusion from many sessions where witnesses were invited by the Judiciary Commission to testify against him. Should he really be exempted from these trials?
Should he be exempted from trial?
Yes, from trials with these witnesses. Should he be exempted?
Magu?
Yes.
Anyone that is indicted by Salami's panel should be tried. That is the reason for the investigation.
No, he's saying that he's not being invited with some witnesses that are testifying against him. Like, he's not being invited. Should he really be exempted from these trials?
No. What happened is that you can't be absent in your own cause, especially if the tendency is that of criminal nature. So I don't think it will equate a fair hearing. If it is true, you may not be there. If it is true that it's not neither him nor his lawyer is allowed to raise issues with the plaintiff lawyers of the panel. I don't think it will amount to fair hearing. When you allege that somebody has committed crime, if the onus is on you and you have placed him on trial, a sort of investigation, it should be hard. I don't support a monolithic trial of individual, especially when it borders on crime. In fact, even if it is a civil case, the person should be there. Though I'm not validating the fact that that fact, because if it's represented by a lawyer, it's deemed to be there. So I wouldn't know. It has to equally follow the laid down procedure of the investigation. I don't have much about the procedure of investigation. If it is a fair procedure and it is accepted, and we heard that it was there. I don't know what transpired there. The trial is conducted in camera, and it's not in open. It's not in the public view. So I don't know much about the trial. But what I will advise is that it's essential. It's an essential ingredient of justice for all parties to be heard, and particularly the party that you allege that had committed crime. It's essential because the onus is on you to prove that he actually committed that crime. So you cannot have it will amount to power over. It will amount to power over when you exclude him from his own cause.
He has also faulted. He has also faulted the commission for denying him copies of the allegations for which he was being trialed. And it still brings to the question that does he really need to have copies of these allegations of which he's being trialed? Can you hear me clearly, sir? Mr. GBENRO? I think we're experiencing some network issues. Yes, so
okay. Yeah, moving on. Okay, let's go on a short break, and when we return, we'll continue from where we stopped. All right, welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is Dami, and I've been with my co-host,
Precious Tribulin.
All
All right, so let's look at the Apapa Oshodi Road Expressway, the gridlock. Are you still with me, Mr. GBENRO? Hello, Mr. GBENRO.
I think we're just experiencing some technical issues with of course, with our guest, who has been with us very soon. And talking. Okay, I think it's back.
Mr. GBENRO, can you hear me clearly? Hello, sir. It's still down to the network issues.
Talking about that Apapa
Yes, so chaos returned to Apapa Oshodi Expressway yesterday, trapping motorists for several hours. The Council of Maritime Transport Union and Association, that's COMTWA, has warned that the gridlock will persist for a long time. It also blamed extortion by security operatives, terminal operators, shipping companies, amongst others, for the menace. Other challenges include the lack of functional holding bay by shipping companies for the empty containers, refusal of shipping companies to bring in sweeper vessels to evacuate empty containers, and delay by the construction company in the construction of the Apapa Oshodi Expressway. Mr. GBENRO, are you still with us?
Okay, so that's all we have on the Apapa. Talking about that Apapa, the gridlock there, I think for a long time now they've been experiencing that.
And a lot of people have been talking about the fact that extortions
from the trailer drivers has been a lot of a very big challenge there. How they manhandle some of the drivers, even the association for the union transporters Contour has come out saying that all these things that they really do experience is one of the issues why there's always like gridlock in that area.
Okay.
Mr. GBENRO, are you with us?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay, so I want to ask you, we're looking at the gridlock that has persisted on Apapa Oshodi Expressway, and there's been a lot of complaints by the Council of Maritime Transport Union and Association, that has come to about issues of extortion by security operatives, amongst other menace. What is the best form of approach to fix this situation?
I don't know why it's defined solution. Over 2 years ago, a presidential committee headed by the vice president was set up to ensure that the traffic get a vibe of flow on that axis. It's a critical economic aspect of our lives, especially, of course, that is the center of our maritime activities in terms of import and export. So, but then, by now, I don't know why those who have no business there, especially the truck, why they always get there. I thought there was arrangement of building a place for them where they could at least wait for it, and until the road that is being constructed is finished. Lagos State government has done its bit, but I don't think, and you should know that every issue of commotion in this country gets exploited, and that is what the security agencies are taking advantage of. Those who should not be allowed, they allow them to come in. They are not regulating the vehicle that move in and and those that are moving out, making life extremely traumatic for those who have that apartment access. It has been and one solution that most people that has been that has been pushed over the years is decentralization of the system. Our port administration system is very bad. You have port in One, you have elsewhere. Why don't you develop them? And everything they don't need to come through Apapa. But we have refused to do that. This is what you call over-centralization of industries, of activities, port activities. We over-centralize it. Instead of it's the same thing with over-centralization of power at the federal level. It's the same problem that we are having here.
Okay, Mr. GBENRO.
How come as a nation, when we actually want to develop?
Sorry to cut you in. I think we're running out of time, but let me quickly let's quickly talk about what Dr. Mailafia said on Monday, where he claimed that a governor from the north is a commander of Boko Haram, and that insurgents will soon start urban killings and attacking attacking the southern part of the country. What do you have to say about it, about these claims?
Well, he said he has the fact. I hope he has told the DSS the fact he has. But then, when you see a violence of this nation persistently going on with almost escalating protests, you can assume that it can't be ordinary. It's not ordinary people that are pushing this. So I might not know the fact he has in respect of a particular governor that is talking about. But then, there is powerful force that is behind this type of protest crisis that is not receding in spite of the so-called effort in terms of response, in terms of pushing them back. Or even I don't that we are doing enough in tackling the problem. It's spreading almost everywhere. We talk about it every day. Those who live with it. Of course, we are one of the most fortunate Nigerians to sit down and still be talking. Some villages, they can't close their eyes, and we believe and we move on as if nothing is happening. On a daily basis, you hear scores of people being killed, and we don't bother. and we don't sleep and think that this thing could get to us. And when you see a dead body, they take the dead body behind your house. To you that is not affected, it's like log of wood. But to those that are concerned, they know the gravity and the heaviness of grief. If people are grieving in this country, we must understand why they grieve, and we must tackle that. I can't rule anything out in Nigeria again. Anybody is a suspect. But then, I don't have the fact that Mailafia has said he gathered. I'm not going to dispute it. I'm not going to affirm him. He has met with those who should know, and he should give them information that will help in tackling the crisis or dealing with the person that has been identified to be their sponsor if found to be true.
Okay.
State terrorism, we have had it elsewhere in the Far East. The world Far East, not East.
Thank you very much, Mr. GBENRO OLAJUIGBE, the Executive Director, Emergency and Risk Alert. Thanks for sharing your thoughts with us. And that's all we have for you on Today in the News on Vanguard Live. My name is... Thank you very much. And that's all we have for you on Today in the News on Vanguard Live.
Search for solution to a very raging conflict.
Okay, I think you didn't get that part because of the network issue. Thank you very much, Mr. GBENRO OLAJUIGBE. Okay, and that's all we have for you on Today in the News on Vanguard Live. We're very sorry for the network interruption. And of course, my name is Damlola Ogunshaki, and I'll be with my co-host
Precious Chukudi.
Enjoy your day.